Okay, hello everybody. We're down here in a section of Horseshoe Curve that I didn't even know that we can get to. That's way down on this end, on the far west side. And I thought that you could even get into this part of the yard or down underneath. This actually comes underneath. The main line goes up over on a bridge, and we're underneath here. Yep, and what I want to do is I want to go ahead and pull this in. Do some yard work here. That's about good. I got the camera view using the 8 key. And we can go ahead and climb back up in here. Yeah, that's right. I didn't even think I could work this track down here. But you can. Let's get a nice on top of the roof view. Horseshoe Curve is a very nice route, but I gotta tell you, having free roam has changed everything. Because this was kind of a neglected route for me. In areas like this here, I wasn't even sure I can get into. Go ahead and fly down with the camera. Let's make sure this is popped open. Oh yeah, this is quite a pleasure to be able to really work some industry, do some local deliveries, and train Sim World. And really, before free roam, passenger stations was about the extent of it, it seemed like. There were very few to no local deliveries. Not able to access areas. A little more. There you have it. Okay, let's get going here. Now, I'm able to work places in Horseshoe Curve I didn't even know I could get to, and I don't even know if they're explored. I don't recall them ever being explored in any of the normal timetable or scenarios. This section of track. Maybe the first time that many of you seen it, even if you have Horseshoe Curve. Let me know if I'm wrong. In a sense, it's almost like this is a whole new game for me, because you know, any time I had spent in Horseshoe Curve before free roam was not spent here. Whole section of town that I just hadn't been to before. In fact, if we take a look at the map, we're down here in Johnstown Yard, down below. Yeah, I just don't know how to express what it is, what's missing. Why does it just, it seems like it's everything's here. I mean, the model, the buildings are here, the track's laid, the canal, you know, and the trees and the mountains, yet it just doesn't seem to come alive. But even still, I find that Train Sim World is hands down far more aesthetically beautiful than Train Sim Classic. Maybe you may disagree because there's some you know, freeware and payware that where a lot of attention to detail is had, but I really do enjoy Train Sim World overall. You know, when you're running long nose forward, I just noticed this, running long nose forward, you need to switch on the lights. Probably could turn those off. Let's see how that looks now. No, they're not on. Front headlights off. There we go. Can even place a car back in there. Yeah, there's just some kind of barrenness that I don't understand. It's like things are beautifully modeled, the scenery, really all the elements are there, but yet it lacks some kind of artistic vibrancy. Maybe it just comes down to detail. Well, what we do now is we check out what's coming. And that train that went by. And what we want to do is set a path. See if it lets us set a path all the way up here. That is a stop lamp. For sure. We're going to have to stop and wait. So the whole section I just came out of, I don't think they ever intended anybody to take a train down there. But in fact, if you try to go with the camera, the external view, there's an invisible wall. It stops you. But for some reason, I'm able to drive the train down there, which is fabulous because it was nice being down here, being able to shuffle some cars around, take advantage of a whole section of this route that, as far as I know, wasn't available before. I'll have to stop it right there and wait. Oh, there we go. We're ready to go. Can't see a thing. All right. I will say this route looks a little nicer once you get out on the main. And like I said, I'm not sure that anybody was ever supposed to go down into that yard area. Well, we're good to go. Looks like I can go 40. Pick up some speed here and get going. thing I will say for certain is that there is a lot of traffic, railroad traffic. Very active timetable on the Horseshoe Curve. So running free roam usually requires you to wait, like we did, but sometimes I had to wait a few minutes before I got a pass to go. I was surprised I didn't have to wait too long to get onto the main. But, you know, I think I'm following 2 trains ahead of me, and I think before long there'll be one behind me. But there's plenty of rail. So you really never have to go head to head with anything. This other train got a full stop, and not waiting, nothing to do with me. Waiting on something. There she goes. Yes, the free roam abilities have opened up a whole new realm. This route was a neglected route by me. I think I talked about it before when my first video on free roam, or one of my first videos on free roam using this route. Yeah, without a doubt, it's changed everything. Let's take a look at the map for a minute while we're running down the line. Not only did it open up this yard area here for me, free roam did. I'm able to get into here. Was able to drop a car off right here, going underneath the railroad pass. Another train coming up. It's also, well, this has always been open. That takes you up to a coal mine. Very busy route. And then also, you know, I think there are some scenarios that take you into this area here. But it'd be nice now for free roam to be able to drop stuff off on some of these terminal spots. But what's really nice is if I zoom out, you can see the whole route from Altoona to Johnstown. But right here in the middle, I forgot the name of this town, you can see all the cars they put in here. A very good play area for, and with the Y, so you can actually come up from either Johnstown and play around, go back to Johnstown, or you can go from Altoona, which is how I actually started, go through Horseshoe Curve, go all the way from Altoona up into this area here, and leave some cars off. But there's also some industry right here. I left the car off here and a couple cars here, and it's quite a nice spot that I was able to get into and leave cars off of. So several industries now are available to make deliveries to. You know, before I was able to do that, I neglected this route because without being able to make local deliveries, all you could do was drive a coal train or, you know, mixed freight or tanker cars from one end to the other. And you could see, you know, I like this country scenery, but there's not a lot to look at. So this certainly became a neglected route for me for the past year. But now, it's a different story. As a note of interest, I was watching the Brit Reacts to USA things that you know, that they come across that they hadn't thought about before, and I certainly hadn't thought about them. One of the things that a British, I don't remember if it was, there's a British guy that has moved over here, lives over here. There's a German college girl that does videos about the USA, talks about the differences between Europe, and there's some other British, and it's an Irish girl that talks about this stuff too. One of them, I don't remember which one it was talking about, well, it must have been the British fella, because he was talking about how over and I don't know, I hadn't been to the UK, but how the trees are kind of flat and dull, and one of the first things they noticed when they come over to the USA is our trees are very colorful. And I don't just mean like right now in the fall time where we have the different colors of trees. They're talking about the greenery is kind of darkish and maybe just bland looking over in the UK. I don't know. This is what they were saying. You know, I hadn't been there. I can't speak for myself. But they were amazed at how green trees were over here. And, you know, it got me thinking, because I noticed that a lot of the trees, now this one here seems like a pretty bright green, but overall, I don't see the vibrancy in the fall colors that I would in natural light and you know, the natural environment living here in the USA. I live in Florida, but, you know, we do have deciduous trees here and some fall colors. I travel around the country for work, and I just came from Virginia, and it was beautiful fall colors there, and very vibrant colors. The yellows are very bright, the reds are very red, and if you look here, I mean, these trees look like they've already turned from color to brown. The yellow isn't that bright, and almost no reds. So and I played this game during the September, October months, and I don't think the colors looked any different than they do now, even though it's November. I know in nature, the colors start to go from the beautiful reds and yellows and different greens to just brown, and then they're brown for a while and they start to drop. Hence fall. But that was something I wondered about, because I never knew that there would be a difference in the color between the European countries and over here in the States, as far as the brilliance of the color. And I do find it interesting. Did the developers who are over in Europe for Dovetail Games, did they kind of make these trees less brilliant than they should be for the States? I don't know. I was just thinking, you know. I do know there had been other people, and you know, now that I think about it, there are other train simulator person that does, you know, these kind of reviews. He was a U.S. citizen, and he was remarking that he didn't like the fall colors at all anywhere in Dovetail Games. So, but maybe that's why. One of the things is when you go long nose forward, like I am right now, and you pop in and out with the 8 key. Let's say, even if I turn it like this, I hit the free cam. The free cam is going to put me in front of the short nose, even though I'm traveling the other direction. So, but I also find it interesting too. I wish the free cam would, and this is the number 2 camera, which is put you in the, I guess where it's a rotating camera, so you can rotate from a particular equal distance, well, unless you zoom in and out from the center of the engine. But the free cam, when you short nose forward, would put you, I wish it put you in a rail fan position, which would be about here, but instead it puts you up over the train like this. And I heard Matt talking about this, and he said it's because I think they tried to go low, and whenever you do, it's problematic because, you know, you run into things like this. But I still would like to, you know, if I can get into the config file or something, and if I knew what the line item was that could be edited, if it's possible, to change the position of the 8 camera to be in a rail fan position, not only here but further away. That would be great, because what happens now is we go into that rail fan position, which is a stop position, and then we got to do this and roll the camera out and fly it out ahead. And it's okay, I guess, in regular gameplay, but when you're doing videos, you know, it's kind of funky to be flying out in front of your train like that all the time. So let's take a look where we're at. I tell you this, I do like the fact that whoops. I do like the fact that the Horseshoe Curve timetable is so active. I don't know it would be this active in real life. You know, I know for passenger trains they have very tight schedules, but freight trains, there's an awful lot of freight trains moving. Everything from coal trains to ethanol trains to mixed, freight to these container cars. So far, it looks like, well, and we've seen a bunch of these container car trains, but when we first started out at Johnstown, across the canal and over the other side, from the other side of the bridge, we could see a mixed freight going. Pennsylvania does offer a lot of scenic, country, rolling hills, a lot of wooded area. Pennsylvania is up in the northeast of the USA, where that's the colonial America, where the first 13 colonies were, and a lot of, history that goes back. This is a nice engine too. GP38, as you can see. It has one of these digital speedometers, which is fabulous. Oh, I turned the gauge lights off. I like the gauge lights to be on. There we go. You easily see how much throttle is going on there, about 4,000 amps of power. Brakes are in good shape, and what are we doing here? We're only doing 10 miles an hour here. We could as always, I get into talking and forget about driving. I do like passenger runs, to be honest with you. I don't always, as much as I love freight and switching cars around, I do enjoy doing passenger. In a couple of weeks, I'll be putting out another video. I already completed it. I got it on the schedule to come out and post for Thanksgiving, USA Thanksgiving, and be a passenger run. This is interesting, this, I don't know if they're grain silos or what's going on there. I'll have to Google map that and see what that is or why. It's kind of an odd place for that to be. There doesn't seem to be any rail service to it. Maybe there was in the past. Oh, you know what? I gotta come to a stop here. Like I said, I get to talking, and I just realized I have to come to a stop. I don't see the light though. Maybe I didn't have to come to a stop. Let's take a look here. Well, this is going through, and these lights may be for the other direction. One of the things that Dovetail was talking about is they're going to have an update at some point where you could tell which direction the light is for. But right now I should be going down this line here. But I need to go ahead and set it up. You know, I could go into here for fun. We could do that. And see what we got in here. This should be all coal cars. We got some engines in there. So anyway, I had completed my path. So now sometimes once you complete it, it doesn't ask that for you to remove it, but I guess in that case it wanted me to. And I'm going to set this path here. This will be interesting because I can take advantage of the Y and get myself cab forward. And let's go ahead and put ourselves... Where do we want this? We'll put ourselves right... well, we can't do that. We'll get locked in. We'll get landlocked here because you can't go out that way. Put ourselves right here. And see, that should... No, it did not work. I'm not sitting on the points, am I? I am. I'm sitting on the points. I have to back it up a little. Oh, I'm on the wrong side of the train. So yeah, release the brake on the cars. Then release the back it up a little. That should do it. Okay, let's try this again. Remove path. Set path. There it goes. Beautiful. Give it a couple of notches of throttle. Amperage goes up. Release the moving it some more. Fly myself into a rail fan position. Yeah, I've always liked the Norfolk Southern decoration. The black with the white stripes is just, I don't know what it is. And the horse, you know, I love it. It's funny, there's a guy sitting in the conductor's seat, but when I go inside the engine, I don't see him. One of those funny phenomena with dovetail games. Yeah, it looks like I'll be going right. Yep. Heading into up the mountain, but we're not going to go. We're going to kind of end it right here at the yard. But this goes, and it's nice scenery too, going up this mountain. Guess I should have blown my horn to go over that one. The water tower way out in the distance on top of that hill. straight up ahead. Now, one thing I could try sometime is getting out of my engine and going over to one of those other engines and going in and see if I could drive those off, and I'm sure I could. It's a question that needs to be answered. We either have to drive all the way up here to get on that rail, or I can come down this rail, be a shorter run. I think that's what I'll do. And see, what I could do too is I've wanted to come in here and pick up these empties, or go ahead and what I like to do is add some more cars to the layout, to the route. One of the fun things about free roam is you can come with a plan, or you can kind of shoot from the hip like I am right now, and lay down some more cars and pick them up and take them to the other side. So I think that's what I'll do, but I appreciate you guys. This may be getting a little long, so I appreciate you guys coming with me. And if you enjoy content like this, check out some of my other videos. So have a wonderful day. Thanks for coming.